The year 2025 started with a trip to the West Coast for the Maryland Terps. And let's just say they were not from the West Coast with love. Fall to both Washington and Oregon. And oh yeah, that's right. Come home on this coming Friday to face UCLA, another ranked team in College Park from the Xfinity Center. It's the official Maryland Terps post-game show right here on the Flex Zone podcast. You're home for all your Maryland Terps coverage. Make sure you guys slam dunk that subscribe button, lay up that like button, block that bell, sound off in the comment section about the Maryland Terps that we love and cover here on this channel. Fall to Washington, fall to Oregon, 11-4 in the season. The road woes, conference woes, and close game woes for Kevin Willard and the Terps continue. Let's get into it as I got your recap and reactions from the West Coast trip. And of course, I want to hear from you in the comment section. What do you think about this season so far? What do you think about the recent West Coast trip? The matchup with UCLA? How do you see the rest of the season playing out? Any comment, good, bad, ugly, leave your favorite emoji. It helps us out tremendously. So, as I mentioned in my preview earlier this week, the Maryland basketball team, they were 11-2 as they head it to the West Coast to face Washington and Oregon. Washington unranked, the Terps on paper. Obviously, they don't play the games on paper, but with the talent the Terps had, seemed like the better team. That was indeed not the case. The Terps did lose 75-69 on Thursday night against Washington. Great Osabor. If you don't know who he is, he plays for Washington. He had 20 points and 14 rebounds on Thursday night. Freshman Zoom Diallo scored a season-high 18 in addition to that as Maryland fell to Washington 75-69, and the Huskies got their first Big Ten Conference win. DJ Davis made 6 of 6 from the free throw line, including 2 free throws with 10 seconds left, made the score 74-69, and added 15 points for Washington, who improved to 10-4, 1-2 in the Big Ten. First-year Huskies coach Danny Sprinkle got his first signature win, knocking off Maryland as they just finished this week prior to traveling to the West Coast. One game, pretty much not one game, but right outside of the AP top 25. 133 points for the Terps. That was the most among unranked teams and 6 fewer than number 25 Baylor. The game was pretty much decided when Diallo drove to the left block, spun back inside, dropped a beautiful pass to Osabor for a layup that gave the Huskies the and one 70-65 lead with 104 left. And this was the first ever meeting between the two teams, and that was the proverbial dagger. Julian Reese had a big-time game, 22 points. Jacoby Gillespie also struggled along with Derek Queen. We're going to get to that. They combined for only 5 points, 1 of 13 shooting, no rebounds, 8 fouls, 5 turnovers. Just unacceptable play from Gillespie and Queen. Washington pretty much controlled the tempo. They played at a deliberate, slow pace, which Maryland doesn't like because Maryland likes to play fast. They limited Maryland's possessions. Maryland averaged 87.2 points coming into this game, number 12 in the nation. They were held below 74 points for the first time this season. So they controlled the pace. The 2 stars of Washington were better than the stars of Maryland outside of Julian Reese, who had 22. Derek Queen and Gillespie combined for 5 points, 1 of 13. We know about the foul trouble with Derek Queen, but no rebounds, 5 turnovers. That is unacceptable. Derek Queen is going to be a lottery pick. And to play like that against inferior competition, man, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And as I said, as I look at the box score for that game, and we can go to it right now and I can share with you guys here on the channel. You look at it. Julian Reese, you love to see it. 22 and 7. Kind of wish he got more rebounds, but it is what it is. He gets 22 and 7. And let me get out of this so I can actually see what's going on here. Here we go. Julian Reese, 22 points. Like mentioned, Derek Queen, 4 points. Only played 18 minutes. One rebound, which is crazy. Miguel, 12. Gillespie, 1 point. Rodney Rice, only 10 points. Geronimo, 10 points off the bench. Deshaun Harris-Smith, nice to see him with 8 points. Jay Young with 2 points. So, there you go. Osabar with 20 and 10. Well, 20 and 14, 10 defensive rebounds. And then Zoom Diallo, the rookie, coming in giving 18, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. So their dynamic duo was better than anything the Terps put together. And when Julian Reese is out there giving you 22 and your next leading scorer is only 12, Derek Queen, 1 for 7, foul trouble, 4 points. Not going to get it done. And Gillespie's been playing really, really well also. 1 point, 0 for 6. Not going to get it done. You see kind of why the game went the way that it did. Shouts out to Washington. They played great defense. They controlled the tempo. Pretty much got the Terps out of their offensive rhythm. The Terps didn't get anything outside of Julian Reese offensively. And you see in late game situations, especially, the Terps defense as of late struggled. And if you look at it, after this, and I want to pull this up, Maryland now, credit to Sam Jane, who works with Jeff Erman on Inside Maryland Sports. Maryland now with that loss on Thursday, we're going back to Thursday, obviously. They fell to 8 and 19 in games decided by 6 points or less under Kevin Willard. So a lot of people on social media are making a comparison between him and Mark Turgeon. It's the same movie, different actor. 8 and 19 games decided by 6 points or less. And now his road record, 6 and 19. It's tough to win on the road, and we got to battle, he said, after tonight. A lot of scrutiny from Kevin Willard. He only has one NCAA tournament win in his career. They've only been to one Sweet 16 since 2003 and haven't been to a Sweet 16 in 9 years. It's ridiculous that he is 1 and 3 this year, as mentioned, on the road, 4 and 13. It's the 6 and 13 record. 6 and 19 on the road and 6 and 13 true road games in the Big Ten. So those numbers are just appalling in itself. 8 and 19 in close games, 6 and 19 on the road. Not going to get it done. Unacceptable. This is year 2 for Willard. We're giving him the benefit of the doubt. I get it. But he's got to step his game up. Year 2, year 3, regardless, he can't have this happen. No. This is not going to do it. This is not going to get the job done, especially against a team that had no Big Ten wins. Now we get to Oregon today, and the Terps played Oregon. Let me get back over here in front of the beautiful people here. Then the Terps traveled to number 9 in Oregon today. Oregon got shellacked recently, so they were coming off a tough loss. And then they defeat Maryland 83-79. Let's get to the Oregon game today. Jackson Shelstad, 23 points, leads Oregon over Maryland 83-79. Shelstad, 8 of 10 from the field, made all 5 of his 3-pointers, 5 rebounds. Nate Biddle with 16 points, 6 rebounds. Oregon improves to 13-2, now 2-2 in the Big Ten. Rodney Rice did lead the way for Maryland, 11-4, now 1-3 in the Big Ten. He had 19 points. Derek Queen also bounced back with 17. Maryland had a 30-17 lead in the first half when Selton Miguel made a big 3-point play with 10 minutes, 9 seconds left. But Oregon killed them with a 13-2 run in that Terps defense. You see the cracks in the armor, the inability to stop teams from getting easy buckets, from getting in foul trouble, knocking down three-pointers. Shellstead had 8 points during the spurt. Maryland actually led at halftime, 45-42. But Maryland, as mentioned, was just outside of the AP top 25, lost to Washington, lost to Oregon, and they faced number 15 UCLA on Friday. As mentioned, the Ducks got pummeled by Illinois, who the Terps have to play on the road soon, 109-77. That was on Thursday. Illinois got their first home win in the Big Ten. The Ducks will likely fall out of the Big Ten as they have an extended road trip coming up against Ohio State and Penn State. Julian Reese had a big second half basket to open up the second half. They were up 47-42, but Oregon, 14 straight points. Keyshawn Barthélemy with a big basket, putting Oregon up 56-47. Oregon made their free throws, 87% from the free throw line, 13-15. Oregon will travel to Ohio State on Thursday, and the Terps host UCLA on Friday. Let's look at the box score here from today's game. And it's more of the same. Julian Reese, 22 the other night. He's inconsistent. The next game, only 6 points, 6 rebounds, 3 for 8. Just when you think he's turning a corner and he's going to walk out there to give you 15, 18 a night, 9 or 10 rebounds, he has single-digit points. That's just unacceptable. Derek Queen kind of came back to normal, 17 points, only 5 rebounds, 34 minutes, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. He bought his A game today, as did the backcourt. Rodney Rice, 19, Gillespie bounced back, 16. Miguel, only 9, but the bench of the Terps, only 12 points. Deshaun Harris-Smith with 4. He had a big-time dunk. Jay Young, starting to see more of him, only 8 points as well. Nothing from Geronimo. He only played 1 minute. Kind of wonder why he didn't play more, especially after having a nice, 10 points off the bench against Washington. And then Gapare, 20 minutes. I would give some of those minutes to Geronimo, especially if Julian Reese isn't producing and he's getting in foul trouble. Whatever. As mentioned, Biddle 16, Tracy 10, Shellstead 23. And how about the bench of Oregon with, 26 points? Barthélemy with 14 and Kwame Evans Jr., who also played with Derek Queen at Monteverde. They talked about it during the broadcast. 10 points, 7 rebounds as well. So Oregon dominating the bench points, and the Terps defense pretty much non-existent in the second half, allowing that run, which pretty much doomed them as well. Terps switched a lot of the ball screens today. They don't usually switch ball screens. Not sure what's switching with their defensive philosophy. Not sure. Shellstead for Oregon was only shooting 26.7% from 3. He was actually 3 for 3. And at this point, bringing them back 32-30 as well. And the 45 points is the third most points by Maryland's output in the first half against a Power 5 team this year. They were shooting 54%, but it allowed 42 points to Oregon. And then the Ducks went on a 14-2 run to start the second half. They were up 56-47, and they were scoring 1.54 points per possession, which is ridiculous. But Rodney Rice did pull the Terps back within 2 points, and it was pretty much over at that point. They got to the free throw line, as mentioned, made 87%. As you see, it was a very evenly matched game, and you can see here with the Terps, they really were right there with them. Field goal percentage, only down by 1. 3-point percentage, they shot better. Free throws, 11 for 15. They were 9 for 11. 9-8 turnovers, points off turnovers. 4 lead changes, and Oregon only led for 9 minutes in this game. The Terps only led for 25. Jesus Christ, man. 16 assists to 13. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Terps go 0-2 on the West Coast trip. Kevin Willard is now 5-19 on the road in Big Ten games. Yeah, I don't know if they're using too many analytics. I don't know what it is, but a lot of fouling down the stretch, and 5-19 on the road in the Big Ten. is not going to get it done, especially when you have some tough, tough road opponents in the Big Ten that you still have to play. I mentioned Illinois. And look at this. It's like watching the same game over and over with Maryland football and Maryland basketball. It is literally the same game. Literally the same game with this. And Maryland, 11-4. They come home to face UCLA. Not sure if they're going to be able to beat UCLA. Kind of thought, okay, you lose to Washington. It happens. You have a stinker every now and then on the road. Then you come back. You're up big at halftime against Oregon. We can beat a top 10 ranked team and get a big marquee win to help our net rating and our chances for March Madness. And they lay an egg in the second half. Foul them. Play terrible defense. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Kind of wonder why Rodney Rice didn't get more shots. 1-3 in the Big Ten now. And now it is desperation mode. The game on Friday is kind of a must win against UCLA. They have to win that game. Oregon, 14 of 27 overall, 6 for 11 from 3 in the second half. This would have been the win they needed. Could have gave them, 12-3. You go 1-1 on the road trip. I say you take 1-1. You beat a top 10 team. You get a ranked win on your ledger. And they just fell apart in their last 4 minutes. Couldn't execute offensively. Couldn't stop Oregon defensively from getting to the free throw line, knocking down shots. And honestly, they don't really have a great defensive player on this team. Julian Reese is at times great, but for 40 minutes, he's not consistently great. Derek Queen, he competes, but he's not great. And it seems like now teams are bringing him out to the perimeter and attacking him, driving right past him. Gillespie and Rice are solid in the backcourt, but Rice and Gillespie aren't the biggest guys, so sometimes they're undersized. So I don't know what they're going to do defensively moving forward. I don't know what Kevin Willard's philosophy is with his team, the analytic aspect. How are they fouling? How are they playing defense? Do they need to play more zone? Do they need to, I don't know, do something else in the half court? Because it wasn't like they were getting transition buckets. They were doing their thing with the press when they could, but you can't really press after missed buckets. So when you get back on defense, you got to get back in transition one. And when you're in the half court, if they're playing man-to-man defense, I think we may need to see more zone. We may need to see more switching of the defense in the half court to supplement some of the issues that they're having one-on-one against some more talented teams offensively. Yeah, we have Derek Queen. Yeah, we have Julian Reese. But like I said, Reese is inconsistent. Queen, if he gets in foul trouble, what's going to happen there? The backcourt, yeah, they may have a game like today where they combine for what? 6 points? You know what I mean? But then they have games where they combine for 12 points. It's just inconsistency. Like you said, it's Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing over and over. This team doesn't close out games well. And it looks like Kevin Willard will continue to be questioned with his coaching. He will continue to be ridiculed for his record in the Big Ten on the road, his lack of success, his lack of ability to win close games. And I can't argue it. I thought we were headed the right way. I thought we could get one of these games on the West Coast, come back with 12 wins, and have a good chance to beat UCLA. But that indeed is not happen. It's the same old. Said it with football, saying it with basketball. As mentioned, Maryland gets back to it. They lose 83-79 to Oregon. They lose on Thursday to Washington 75-9. They do play UCLA coming up as I pull up the schedule for everyone to see. They have UCLA on Friday. That is a Fox game in primetime. So we'll be live for that and SmackDown. So we'll be doing that with you guys. So join us for that. And they got Minnesota, a Big Ten game they should win, but a road game at Northwestern. You play Nebraska. You go to Illinois. You at Indiana. They got to go back to Ohio State. You got Wisconsin, Rutgers, Nebraska, Iowa, USC, Michigan State's ranked, Penn State, Michigan, and Northwestern. Never an easy out in the Big Ten. And a lot of these games are going to be on the road because you played a lot of home games early on. So they're going to have to prove their valor, prove what they're made of. And it starts at the top with Kevin Willard. He's got to make the better in-game adjustments. He's got to close out and execute down at the end of the game. And he's got to coach his guys better. And they've got to play better defensively. I think the offense will take care of itself. They've got talent. Derek Queen, obviously Julian Reese, Rice, Gillespie, Miguel. I like to see Geronimo play more than 1 minute. Let's get him in double-digit minutes. Jay Young, let's see what he can bring. And we'll see what the Terps do. But the Terps fall 83-79, 75-69, go 0-2 on the West Coast trip. Come back home on Friday to face number 15 UCLA from Xfinity Center at 8 p.m. on Fox. You know the Flex Zone podcast. We will be live to talk about it with you and you. Slam dunk that subscribe button if you haven't already. Lay up that like button. Bulldoze and block that bell for all Maryland Terps content. We got an interview with Jeff Ehrman. We got Commanders content, Ravens content, Orioles content, flagship podcast, wrestling content, and much more. It's the Flex Zone podcast, your home for Maryland Terps basketball. Sound off below. Let me know your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on their West Coast trip, the matchup with UCLA the rest of the season, Kevin Willard, his records, which aren't so great on the road and in close games, and your favorite emoji. Anything in the comment section helps us out tremendously. Terps fall to 11-4, go 0-2 on the road. Come home to face UCLA. This has been the official Maryland Terps post-game show right here on the Flex Zone podcast, your home for Maryland Terps basketball, football, and sports. How you want it when you need it. Happy Sunday, everybody. God's favorite host signing off. Terps fall. Go 0-2 on the West Coast trip. Head back home Friday to face UCLA. I'll see you guys this week for more Maryland Terps content and all the other content on the channel. Have a great day and happy Sunday, everybody. Terps fall. Not so happy recap. But we'll be here to talk about the rest of the season.